So I think that, obviously without even knowing it, the second caller today made one of the best rebuttals to the first caller today, Wade. So I'm just going to leave that as it is because I don't think I could improve on it. But I'm going to respond to Wade from a completely different angle because I've noticed a pattern beginning with him that I wanted to point out. So this is just from today, what you just heard, his voicemail in just one section of what he said about drone strikes.
Of course I don't ignore the fact that we are making lifetime enemies when we utilize drones. But what should we do? They hit us or try to hit us and then go hide behind the skirts of women and children.
And this is from a couple of weeks ago on the topic of gun policy when he was discussing what could potentially be done to stop more tragedies like the Newtown massacre.
You want my proposal? I don't have one because there's not much you can do.
And I think this really crystallizes one of the fundamental differences between conservatism and progressivism, because when Wade asks the question, as he does, what else are we going to do? What he really means is there's nothing else we can do, as he put a little bit more bluntly in the discussion about gun policy. And that is absolutely at the core of progressivism, is to answer that question. Rather than to ask it rhetorically and insist that nothing can be done, we actually take it seriously. What are we going to do? I don't know. Let's actually think about it. Let's propose some policies. Maybe we'll have some good ideas. Maybe we'll have some bad ideas. We'll debate them and then actually move forward on the good ideas. Whereas conservatives, of course, are interested in maintaining the status quo, that they're interested in conserving the status quo. That's what they're known for. But I actually heard this rebutted once by a conservative. Someone was saying that conservatives stand in the way of progress and new ideas. And the conservative said, no, we're just standing in the way of bad ideas. I thought, okay, cute. I get it. That's a really nice idea. I appreciate that. Obviously, when you have a problem and you're trying to come up with ideas to fix that problem, some of the ideas that people are going to come up with are going to be bad. That's true. It's also true that some of them are going to be good and some of them may work. That's the point of government. At least liberals and progressives are trying to come up with ideas rather than insisting that there are no ideas to be had, as Wade seems to imply on a semi-regular basis now. And who in the year 2013 can actually say with a straight face that we can't change something for the better? You can look back in our history and you're going to say, nope, however things are now, that's how they're going to stay. The only thing in life you can actually count on is that things will change. So suggesting that how things are is how they have to stay is the height of absurdity. And in governmental policy, the only way to absolutely ensure the continued failure of a broken system is to do nothing, which seems to be the only policy proposal I ever hear out of the GOP and people like Wade. And it's all about priorities, So Wade thinks that international cooperation and police-style enforcement, rather than military-style enforcement, is laughable. But we spent $1 trillion minimum on those wars in the Middle East. You think if we spent $1 trillion on police enforcement, that wouldn't sound so far-fetched anymore? The last thing I want to say on drones is something I actually agree with Wade about, and is that I don't actually think most liberals believe that armed drones are going to be used to kill Americans in America with Hellfire missiles without judicial oversight. And that's why the episode I'd made on the subject was titled, "Drones Are Not the Problem, They Just Highlight the Problem." Assassinations obviously don't have to happen with drone strikes. That's not the point. The entirety of the argument of the episode was the one that Wade didn't even try to rebut: the lack of judicial oversight for an assassination program. To that, he said, you know what? You got me. Good idea. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about that. And every other point he made was just excuses of convenience to get around that one immutable pillar of our constitutional system. And that's why it was miraculous in the coincidence that the second caller today made the perfect point to rebut Wade on that, is that our Constitution is supposed to be set up so that we have to do things the hard way rather than the easy or more convenient way in order to protect the rights of people. If anything is exceptional about our country, it's that. It's that we decide to do things not because they are easy, but because they are hard, to borrow a line from someone of no consequence, I'm sure, in order to protect the rights of individuals.